on with a song of emigration, and this one has a little unusual twist. There are lots of songs in the Irish canon about emigration, but in this song the guy actually goes back. He spent most of his life in this country, in Indiana, and had a long and happy life, but when he became an old man, he decided he wanted to head home for his last few years. So that's what he did, and it starts off with a short tune that Andy Irvine here wrote. It's called The Dream. And could I have a wee bit more... Sorry, this is a private message to the sound engineer, so I don't want anyone eavesdropping on my private... A little bit more of a fiddle, John's fiddle, in my monitor, please. Thank you. Thanks, Trevor. Okay, everyone, you can start listening again now. The Dream, followed by Indiana.
Your green land forevermore. But when the ship lies on the ocean, and each day we're out on the sea. All the dreams I've had for years now, drawing near our reality. Indiana, your green land's been good to me. There I traveled, there I settled, there I raised up my family. But the cold has never suffered, and the longing each day has grown. Tomorrow I'll be leaving for the land we call my home. Growing up, my big hero was Woody Guthrie. He was the first person who got me into this kind of music, and I used to pretend that I was Woody Guthrie because nobody around where I lived knew who he was, and so I thought I'd put him on the map, and so I used to call myself Woody, and I'd meet people I didn't know, and I'd speak in this what I thought was wonderful Oklahoma accent. And I used to sing all Woody Guthrie songs in the same way, and I was kind of heartbroken when I realized that I couldn't go through my life singing Woody Guthrie songs with an Oklahoma accent. And this is a song which I used to do the way Woody used to do it. But when I dropped the accent, I had to drop the tune as well, and I changed the tune. But it's still Woody's one of his greatest songs. It's called "The Ballad of Tom Joad," and it's a song that Woody wrote after seeing the movie of John Steinbeck's book *The Grapes of Wrath* in 1940. Tom Joad got loose from McAllister Pen. It's there that he got parole. After 4 long years on a man-killing charge, Tom Joad came walking down the road. Tom Joad, he met a truck-driving man. It's there that he got him a ride. He says, I just got loose from McAllister Pen on a charge called homicide. Well, that truck drove away in a cloud of dust, and Tom turned his face towards home, and he met Preacher Casey, and they had a little drink. They found that his family, they were gone. Oh, they found his mother's old-fashioned shoe, found his daddy's hat, and they found little Muley, and Muley says they've been tractored out by the cats. Tom Joad walked down to his neighbour's farm. He found his family, and they took Preacher Casey and they loaded in a car, and his mother says, we've got to get away. Oh, the 12 of the Joads made a very heavy load, but Grandfather Joad did cry, and he picked up a handful of land in his hand, said, I'm staying with the farm till I die. They fed him short ribs and coffee and soothing syrup, but Grandfather Joad did die. They buried Grandfather Joad by the side of the road, and Grandma on the California side. They stood on a mountain and they looked to the west, and it looked like the promised land. That bright green valley with a river running through, there was work for every single hand. They thought there was work for every single hand. Joads drove away to a jungle camp, and it's there that they cooked up a stew. And the hungry little kids from the jungle camp said we'd like to have some too. Oh, a deputy sheriff fired loose at a man. He shot a woman in the back. Before he could take his aim again, Preacher Casey dropped him in his tracks. And they handcuffed Casey, they took him to jail. But then he got away, and he met Tom Joad by the old river bridge, and these few words he would say. I have preached for the Lord a very long time. I've preached about the rich and the poor. Us working folks had better get together, or we haven't got a chance anymore. Well, the deputies came, and Tom and Casey ran to the bridge where the river ran down. But the vigilante thugs hit Casey with a club. They laid Preacher Casey on the ground. Tom Joad, he grabbed that deputy's club, and he hit him over the head. Tom Joad took flight in the dark rainy night, and a deputy and a preacher lie dead. Well, Tom ran back where his mother was asleep. He woke her up out of bed, and he says goodbye to the mother that he loved. He said what Preacher Casey said. Everybody might be just one big soul. It looks that way to me. Wherever you look in the day or night, that's where I want to be. Wherever little children are hungry and cry, wherever people aren't free, wherever folks are fighting for their rights, that's where I want to be. Back in Ireland, a couple of hundred years ago,
the place was regarded as a nation of harp players. And one of the more famous harp players was a man called Turlough O'Carolan. And he was a blind man who he went blind as a teenager, and it was suggested he better try and find some way of working, some way of looking after himself. But his options were severely limited now that he'd lost his sight, and somebody suggested music. So he says, well, I'll give it a go. And it discovered he had a great talent for not only playing music, but writing music. So from then on, that's how he made his living. And he travelled around the countryside in Ireland, visiting the big houses. And he'd stay in the house and play music for the residents and their friends and neighbours. And after a couple of weeks, he'd move on. And he would typically pay his thanks to the host and hostess by writing a tune for them. And then he'd walk off down the road until he got tired and went into the next house. So it was kind of a lonely life, and someone gave him a donkey as a companion. And it also worked out as the kind of the prototype seeing eye dog. And it was a seeing eye donkey. And luckily it didn't really catch on. But that's how he made his way for the rest of his life. And he wrote this piece of music for a family, for some friends of his that lived up in Sligo. And they had a new baby, so he wrote the tune in honour of the birth of the new baby. And the family name was Jones, and the baby was called Loftus. So the piece of music is called Loftus Jones. That's the first note. in A.
very much indeed. It's great to be back here. David has said everything about us. I can think of nothing else to say, except that we're going to start off with 3 jigs that we learned from a recording made back in the 1920s by a great flute player called John McKenna, who came from County Leitrim, and he emigrated to America sometime in the 1920s or before that, and we're lucky enough, I suppose, that he did, because otherwise we wouldn't have a recording of him. But these are 3 jigs called John McKenna's Jigs.
set of reels, and there are two girls here tonight. I have their names written down so I get them right. Samantha Durbin and Margot Walsh, and they're great dancers. They're going to be dancing in the World Championships in Glasgow at Easter. They come from the Culkin School of Irish Dancing, so they're going to appear round about here in a while, so don't get alarmed if you see two beautiful girls. It's not a flight of fancy, it really is happening. So, thanks again, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you. So thanks everybody. Thanks for a great night. See you all soon again. Thank you.